Rev up your engines!
Hey Scotty, my name's Hank. I had an 01 Toyota Camry I inherited from my grandparents and was told about 2 months into owning it about the transmission being replaced at 150,000 miles. The car now is 194,000. I woke up, drove my car to get coffee, and off the highway exit my transmission fell off the mounts and fell apart going 60 miles an hour. No one was behind me, but I got to see the transmission flip and tumble. What a mess. But it was a nice ride. Now that, I'm not blaming that on the transmission. Whoever did the work. Because if the transmission actually fell out of the car, they didn't bolt it on right. Mounts were worn and they left the old ones and they broke and they fell down. But if you saw it tumbling back, they just didn't tighten it right. Here's something that I see all the time, which a lot of people don't understand, but when they do have transmission work done, they have to learn what exactly is happening. A lot of people, when a Toyota transmission does go out, take it somewhere, and the people they take it to will just go buy a used transmission from a junkyard and put it in. You have no history. Those things are relatively hard to rebuild correctly. They're just putting a used one in. That's pot luck. That's just gambling. Are they getting a factory rebuilt one? They're rebuilding to themselves. Are they using a used one? With Toyotas, you can't buy a new automatic transmissions. They don't sell them. I wouldn't blame that one on the Toyota. I'd blame that on the people who worked on the Toyota. Because I personally never seen that myself. When I work on a car, I put them together tight. They don't fall apart when people drive down the road later. Chinese Big Fun from New Jersey. Hi, Scotty, I want a bigger SUV. 14 Explorer, 2011 to 2014 4Runner. Thanks a lot. Okay. Well, if you want to buy something that's going to last forever, get the 4Runner. You're going to pay a lot more. There's no arguing that. They go for a whole bunch more. That's new enough that's going to be super expensive. You can get the Explorers a whole lot cheaper. Sometimes you will pay 25% of what the Toyota goes for an Explorer. They can be okay short-run cars. Customers buy those Explorers, 4 or 5 grand, and keep them for a few years, and we're happy. But if you want long-term, run for years and years and years, go to Toyota. You're going to pay a lot more, but you get your money's worth. But short-term, I've had people get Explorers, and they were okay. They were happy with them for what they paid. Brian Pond says, does putting 303 on your tire and wiper blades make it last longer? Okay, your wiper blades, yes, because they're thin, they're rubber, and they have to have a reasonably thin edge to wipe and make it clean so they don't judder back and forth. They always ask me, Scotty, why don't they just make them thicker? They'll last longer. Well, if they do, then they make all kinds of noise. So they have to be thin. But tires, no. The tires are just going to wear out. Look, your tires are riding on the ground, right? The tread. The tread is where all the wear occurs. And if you get your tires worn and the tread's starting to crack, it doesn't matter what the rest of the tire is like. It's cracked, it's worn, and it's time to replace them. Rubber only lasts so long on tires. That's not going to make them last any longer, but it will make your wiper blades last longer. There's a lot less technology in the wiper blades than in the tires. Surviving Susan says, is it really necessary to torque an axle nut to exact specifications? Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, this morning I shot a video on just that. You really need to torque them to exact specifications because wheel bearings, if they are over-torqued and too tight, they're overstressed. And now, they're not going to wear out right away, but sometimes within 6 months or a year, you start to hear them roaring and they're worn up from being torqued too tight. On the other hand, you don't want them too loose either, because if they're too loose, then they rattle around. Wheel bearings, generally these days, are roller bearings, ball bearings inside. Some of them are tapered bearings, but either way, they're steel. They're hard as can be. Just a little bit too much extra pressure on them over thousands of miles and millions of spins around. It'll wear them out early if you don't do it right. Some cars are really touchy about it, like Volkswagens. They're real touchy about it. Miguel Rosmondo said, Scotty, life hacks everything. I'm sure there's a reason behind his hairstyling. Yeah, it's called laziness. I've had this hairstyle since I was in university, and that was 45 years ago. There's just less of it. I mean, I always had a high forehead here, but now it's a little bit further back. I'm used to it. I live with it. And that's the way it's going to be. I'm not going to be one of these guys who I'm going to shave my head. Because personally, I think that white guys like me, if they shave their head, they look like somebody who just escaped from a lunatic asylum. Other people can pull it off. But white dudes, especially of Germanic origin, if you shave your head, you look like an insane berserker like the Vikings when they shave their heads. So, I'm going to keep my hairstyle. That's the way that it goes. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.